Good day, everybody. We'll have a discussion today or lecture today about information technology management, or in short, IT management. Today's presentation will have this outline whereby we'll see at the introduction to this topic, and then after that we'll talk about some basics that are important for us to understand IT management, and then after that we'll talk about the reasons why IT management is important and some key effective features for IT management, and then finally we'll look at IT infrastructure and how it can be managed. So to start off, this IT management course or topic is very important because it actually revolves around almost everything that is in a company, because we realize that nowadays most, if not all, big organizations and small ones are managed using technology, and this technology needs also to be managed. And we say that IT management refers to monitoring and administration of an organization's IT systems. So this might be either hardware, software, networks, and many other things. And then further, we say that IT management focuses on how to make information systems operate efficiently. And we also know that human beings are part of the system. We also need to work efficiently. So IT management is geared towards ensuring that an organization is optimum, is efficient, is running smoothly, is running safely, because everything is managed. It's an extremely important I should call it role that is being taken by these IT people. Now, IT management is the discipline whereby all information technology resources of a firm are managed in accordance with its need and priorities. So in an organization, there are various needs and organizations and needs and priorities, and IT management would ensure that yes, those ones are followed, and these resources would be tangible or even beyond tangible, and that's why we would want to talk about hardware, software, data, network, data centers, staff, and all the people who are hired to maintain this technology or these systems. So the task of managing entails lots of things, and these things are like, for example, budgeting, staffing, change management, organizing and controlling, and then other aspects such as software design, network planning, tech support, etc. So this means that IT is closely intertwined with business operations, because when you talk about budgeting or staffing or change management, then you're talking about that is related to IT. Then we would wonder how, but then we all know that nowadays technology is in all or close to all business operations, so we still need to be able to manage it. So the central aim of IT management is to generate value through the use of technology. This is the most important thing that has to happen here. Uh, how would we generate value? Now, this means that the IT team needs to sit down, see all the business processes of an organization, and try to align them to technology, and to ensure that the alignment is geared towards improving the performance and, of course, generating more revenue. So that's why the IT management uh, uh, concept is very important, because the key to generating value through technology is how you manage all these resources. So to achieve these, business strategies and technology must be aligned. Now, some people, some time back, used to talk about business process re-engineering, how we can try to realign various processes of a company into what is best, and or into technology. And we saw that a lot of changes took place, and many people, of course, learned that for sure technology can generate lots of value. Uh, some of the basics of IT management uh, are here. We want to talk about the primary focus of IT management being value creation, and this is being made possible by technology. It requires, of course, IT and business strategies to be aligned. Now, IT management responsibilities and tasks would include the following: determining business requirements for IT systems. So, IT management will ensure that all the requirements, all business requirements, uh, are in tandem or agree to the systems that are going to be put in place or that are in place. Now, at the same time, IT management responsibilities and tasks will include, again, managing budgets, monitoring safety, controlling systems and security, implementing new software, hardware, other systems, and then providing technical and help desk systems, etc. So this is how the responsibility of IT management. And the IT department are usually headed by the chief information officers, or the CIOs, and they are the ones who determine the goals for businesses, and they ensure that these goals are implemented. These people keep on updating the information, because technology keeps on changing fast. So within 2 or 3 years, you'll get that some of their roles have changed into new roles. So that's why a very, very, very competent person is supposed to be heading this department. Now, why is IT management important? Now, the first thing I want to say is that IT underpins almost all enterprise activities. Nowadays, for example, you just go to the bank and just say that you want to stop all the IT or the technology there and try to go manual. Things won't work, because almost everything depends on technology and has been included in technology. So we have automation, we have many new things which have been discovered, and capabilities and efficiencies because of actually aligning business processes to IT. So it's very important to see then how we can manage all these things. Now, again, at this moment, as I've just said, it is impossible actually to separate technology from daily business operations. If you try to separate, then I guess both would have to die because it's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah. So IT management is very important. It's very important. So what happens? This IT management practices will ensure that information technologies are secure, highly available, and perform at their peak. Now you see that IT management also gets into information systems security, and then we saw in information system security the tenets of information system security, and then we talked about the CIA. And IT management practices would also ensure that security, availability, and then of course performance, which is very, very important. So you as a CIO, you need to do more and advise your organization to invest in the latest system or the most efficient system. So we need to know what is happening in the industry, and we need to see whether we need to align to that vis-a-vis our business processes. So that is why IT management is so important, because without it, I would say most of the industries that we have nowadays will not be successful or will not even work well. So we need to see some of the important aspects of IT management. Now, IT management software and tool can help, and they include analytics, cloud computing, AI, and cognitive computing, and IoT. Generally, what we're trying to say is that nowadays technology has advanced so much. We have so much data, and now we need the power of technology to be able to analyze this information and help us make decisions. And that's why we need analytics. Business intelligence is there, and data management is there. And out of these, we would get lots of insight, and we would do better, we would perform better. So these tools are key because of the current situation. Cloud computing, we know that very well. We have so much data, we have so many processes that need to be run, maintained, or even serviced. And all these things cannot be done by people in an organization. Some of these things and some of the resources required again cannot be afforded or cannot be maintained because of cost or many other reasons. So some of these things would be given out. So we need to be able to advise, for example, an organization whether to join or to buy space in a cloud, or whether to have information locally taken care of. And all these things, it's all about IT management. And then AI and cognitive computing. Nowadays we have artificial intelligence that helps us make decisions. Predictions are done, and of course, things which used to take days or months to figure out, nowadays it can take few minutes or few seconds. So with all these capabilities and tools, we can see which best way to do what, to manage our technology and our businesses. And finally, we know about Internet of Things, that it's very important in this generation, because nowadays everything is trying to get connected to everything. And I think there's something that they call Internet of Everything. So sooner or later, everything will be connected, and all that data and information needs to be all that data and information and technology needs to be managed, and we need to get value out of that. So that's why actually we are saying that IT management is key to the success of any business or organization. So the infrastructure of IT is as follows. IT infrastructure is a combined set of information technology needed in order to develop, test, deliver, monitor, control, or support IT services. So the key word here is IT services being developed, tested, delivered, or monitored or controlled. So it's all the infrastructure that is put together or combined. So that means there's so many components that come together to be able to help us have this infrastructure. There is a term known as ITIL. They say that the term IT infrastructure is shown in a standard called Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So ITIL is nothing but a standard that is detailed and helps people focus on aligning their businesses with IT. So it's all about aligning IT services and the needs of the business. So this standard is available. I think it's ITIL 3 or 4 point something, and that's what the industry use. So actually ITIL, let me call it ITIL, describes processes, procedures, tasks, checklists, etc., which are neither organization specific nor technology specific, but that can be applied by any organization towards strategy, delivering value, and maintaining a minimum level of competences. It allows the organization to allow a baseline from which it can plan, implement, and measure. So it's all about aligning IT services with the needs of the business. So all these processes, procedures, tasks, checklists, there's so many things, which of course are not organization specific, which are generic, which can apply to most organizations. And most organizations can start from there as they plan on how to have a better strategy for their organizations. So this is very important. So technology is there. It's helping our businesses align to, or it's helping us align our services with the needs of the business, our IT services with the needs of the businesses. So I want to mention some very important concepts here of how we can manage infrastructure for information systems. And in this case, let's talk about managing hardware and software, or hardware and software management. We all know that hardware are the physical components, which can mean all the machineries that are helping us to process, store, and transmit data. It can be a computer, a server, photocopy. It can be a router or network cables, etc. All these resources are very important. So how do we now understand how we can manage this infrastructure or these resources? Number one, we need to understand the current trends of course, the hardware, and then also the current trends of software. Why is it important? So that our business or our organizations can be able to perform well or competitively move with other big companies, or to have a competitive advantage. So it's very important for us to know the current trends or what is currently being used in the industry. Here I just said something here that the trend of hardware is towards easy to use, maintain, and connect via telecommunication links. That's important. And then the trend of software development is towards easy to use, multi-purpose network enabled application packages for productivity and collaboration. So it's all about getting the right hardware or software that would enable us to perform optimally or to get value from our business processes or business trends. Now, when you have this hardware and software, for example, I'm just trying to assume that you are a CIO and you need to advise or you need to know what is happening. How do you start evaluating this hardware and software? How do you manage these resources or this infrastructure? Now, right here, we're saying that how do companies evaluate and select hardware and software? When making decisions on hardware, there is much more to evaluating hardware than deciding the fastest and the cheapest computer services. Some specific questions have to be asked and evaluated. It's like something like a tool that would help you know what to do next. Now, let's say it's a hardware now, or it's a software, or it's a system that you have there. Now, the first thing you might want to ask yourself is the performance. How is it performing? And performance can be in terms of speed. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it moderate? Or capacity? How is it processing my data? Is it processing it well or bad? Now, cost, on the other hand, is what's the cost of purchasing, let's say, this resource, or what's the cost of having to lease this resource in some cloud or something like that, or what's the cost of operation and maintenance, or what's the total cost of ownership. So there's some questions that must be asked. And reliability, for example, reliability, the risk of malfunction, how are we going to handle that? Maintenance, diagnostic features, etc. Compatibility with existing softwares and hardware. Is it compatible? Yes, no. All these have got repercussions, or I've got we have so much that we will get from there. Connectivity, easily connected to WAN or LAN. Scalability, software, is the system and application software available that can be used for the hardware or not. Ergonomics, user-friendly, not user-friendly. Technology, year of product life cycle, or what cycle does the product go through. So much has to be asked just for either the hardware and the software. And that's why we need to have this evaluation framework or tool to be able to help us manage this resource. Now, if it's software, you can ask the following questions. Is it bug free? What's the quality of the software? How flexible is it? Is it able to handle many other things? Or how compatible is it? Or is it extensible? Can we have security features switched on, off, for example? Does it have enough documentation, or other factors like how does it perform, how reliable is it, and many others. So in the shoe of a CIO, I would see that we need to evaluate these systems very well, because once we evaluate them very well, we'll know what we're supposed to do for the organization. So there are lots and lots of resources that must be managed. So sometimes this can be managed within the organization, and sometimes we can outsource. So we are saying here that sometimes some of these services are provided by the vendor for free, and other kinds of services can be outsourced to a company at some fee. Now, evaluation factors of information systems services, focusing on the quality of service, of support service, include the following. Let me just repeat this. Evaluation factors of information systems, focusing on the quality of support services, include the following. Performance, maintenance, training, accessibility, hardware, software, etc. There's so many things that we look at when we talk about services being given to us. And that's why we are saying the quality of service or support service is very important. So you might want to know, let's say, if this product is outsourced, are we going to get support for that? How are we going to pay for that? What's the cost? What's the performance? And what are the benefits of us outsourcing this thing vis-a-vis us having it here? So these are questions that are very important when we are managing resources, and that is very important. And that's why I want us now to have this as our assignment for this week. Think of how we can manage the following IT resources or parts of infrastructure or information systems resources. Network and telecommunications. You can talk about IoT or wireless communications, whichever thing you want to talk about. Databases and warehouses, human resources, security. For example, should you have your security local, or you can also have other big companies out there secure your organizations. So all this is very important for us to understand, and we need to come up with a possible evaluation criteria for each of these resource. And then after that, we can include a small case study for the same. Now, we can decide to take one or two and talk about them. It's not a must for us to come up with all of them, so that in our next class we'll meet and discuss